Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. I'm Kevin Coleman. I'm joined now with Joe Mixie. Joe, how's it going?
It's going good. We finally get to talk some soccer today here on the network.
We do. We had a great show yesterday. We had some
Absolutely.
great guests. Paul Carcaterra, ESPN lacrosse analyst. We also had Mike Buswell and four of his players from the Trumbull 14 under Babe Ruth All-Star team joining us. So we want to thank them for coming on. We're going to start things right away, Joe. We're going to start things off. We're going to bring in a former coach of mine, and a man that I've known for a long time, and he goes by the name of Phil Bergen, head coach of the Richfield Boys varsity soccer team. Coach Phil, how's it going? Thanks for coming on.
Good, yeah. Thank you for having me. It's going to be fun, I hope.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Coach, we've known each other for a long time. You were my longtime coach, even as a kid and going through the varsity level in high school. Just looking back through your career, you started in 04. And even before that, you were working with SCORE and doing that youth program at Richfield. That is really, you've done a remarkable job. Looking back now, it's now 2017. Are there any memories now you look back on and really cherish?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, we've had some success. 2 state championships over a course of really 8-9 years has been exciting. But really, watching kids develop, not only as soccer players, but as people, and then finding out how they followed through with their careers and with their lives has been really rewarding. It demonstrates, it shows how old I'm getting, but that's okay. But it's been really, it's been a great thing to watch them grow up, and the success is really exciting, and I wouldn't say it's secondary necessarily, but it's right on top there, watching kids grow up and is as good as it can get.
Coach Joe Mixie here. Just taking a look at your experience, your repertoire, just as a player, you bring a lot to the table in terms of coaching, and you were able to go out and win a state championship in the 80s. You came from playing at Austria, and then you've been coaching and have led the team to success over the last 14 years. When you first started coaching, what kind of aspects of your personal game did you want to incorporate into coaching Ridgefield on the field?
Yeah, I always thought having a relationship with the players was the number one thing to have. I've always enjoyed and valued, having a relationship with my players. And I think that is what really made the difference, I hope. I've always said that, when that dissipates, then it's time for me to quit. But having a relationship with the players, knowing their strengths and weaknesses as players, but also as people, I think has played a big part in our success. I've been very lucky. Ridgefield has been great to me. I came here from Austria and played for Aldenez my senior year, won a state championship, and then to be able to be back in his shoes 24 years later and to win the state championship again for the first time in 24 years was just a priceless experience, and then to win it again, 6 years, I think 6 years later was, the icing on the cake. Obviously, want to win it again, but, I've also said often to my players, it's usually not the best team that plays. There's a lot of luck, a lot of bad luck involved, and there's always a lot of teams out there that could have won it. But I'm confident we can put a good show together and win another state championship possibly.
And you're right, Coach. That's one of the things that I remember you telling, myself and my teammates throughout my time is it's not the best team that wins it. It's the luck. And like you said, you got to put your ducks in a row, as you mentioned before, throughout those years. But you look back and you look at that 2007 state championship team. Look at 2013. One of those teams really stick out to you the most.
Well, the 07 team, of course. I mean, winning it the first time again in 24 years was huge. And I had coached that particular group of kids actually for many years in the club, and most of them decided to stick together and stay in Ridgefield. And this was around the time where Premier Soccer started to pull players. And so it was a conscious decision made to stick together, and of course, we never knew ahead of time that we were going to win it all. But when we did win it all, it was just the proof But, you know, if you stick together, if you have pride for your town, you work hard, then good things can happen. So, I mean, having it, winning it for the first time with a group of kids who sacrificed, who stuck around, who stayed together, who enjoyed fighting for each other, was priceless. And it was during a time when I was just starting off as coaching director for the soccer club of Ridgefield, and so you know, all the programs I had put in place, there was no proof to know. There was no way of knowing whether what I was doing was doing the right thing. But winning it in 07 and then again in 13, you know, allowed me to have some confidence in what I was doing was the right thing in terms of developing players and providing the high school arena with quality players.
Certainly a long-lasting history of the championships there, and you take a look at over your experience over the last almost decade and a half, and this tough competition that's become of the FCAC, and then you take a look at what's to happen this season with your team. Have you previewed that schedule yet? Looking ahead, the 2017 schedule for Ridgefield High School soccer. You guys play 4 out of the first 5 teams that you play, all advanced to the playoffs in the FCAC. What are you doing to try to prepare for, especially the first couple of games against Trumbull and Stanford on the list?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have to be physically totally in shape, prepared for competition. We have to be psychologically, mentally ready to compete. You know, the lack of success we've had over the last few years, I try to convince our players, you know, we were only a goal away from winning it all. I mean, that's how I look at it. You know, so even when we don't do so well statistically, I think historically we've proven over the last 3-4 years that we're a team that everyone wants to beat, everyone needs to beat, and we could have, like I said, won it all. So that's you know, I don't spend too much time worrying about who we play because we need to go through focusing on what our abilities are, focusing and having confidence on what we can do, and forcing the opponent to make adjustments to us, not us to them. And I think for the high school arena, that is the best way of doing it. It hasn't always worked out the way I'd like to, but obviously, I prefer going into a season and making sure that we have all our T's crossed, all our I's dotted, all our ducks in a row, and then make the best of it.
Now you're going to play Trumbull for the second time, opening up the year again. Now, last year was, it was a little bit of a disappointing season. You had a lot of juniors on this roster who are now seniors. Talk about what you expect from these seniors, what they learned from last year, getting a lot of quality varsity time on the varsity level. Now they're seniors. Now you expect some high-quality play from them, especially guys like Christian DeVivo, Alex Glass, Alex Lust, and you look through the list, John LaCorey. You know, what is it about this senior class you're most excited about this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think they will have the most experience than any other senior-led team I've had. Most of these 18 returning seniors, not all of them, but most of them have been on the varsity team even as sophomores and got playing time in. And I put them on the varsity team because I knew and I was hoping that once, you know, as an investment, once they are seniors, they will be able to compete on the field, but not only physically, but not only technically, not only tactically, but also psychologically. Really being able to go into the game and knowing ahead of the game that we're going to win the game. You know, one play at a time, and that's something that I think we've lacked over the last few years. You know, technically, physically, and tactically, we're as good as any team out there, I believe. But we just psychologically we haven't been able to be mature enough to compete. And I really believe this team, this group of seniors, have that ability. I coached them at SCORE in the last couple of years, and they really demonstrated to be able to play very well. Over the next few years, they got a little separated between playing freshman, JV, and varsity. But now's their time. Now's the time that we've talked about where they come together and they have to make it happen. But I think it's psychologically, I think that's the major point. They need to be able to come in and have confidence in themselves and beat the opponent one play at a time.
Yeah, Coach, you take a look at, talked a little bit about the senior class that's coming in. You sent us a list of key returners. You take a look at some of these names, led by Alex Glass, who was first-team All-FCAC last year. Alex lost Ben Sass, John Ligori, and Christian DeVivio, to give a couple of names. Who kind of on that list stands out as somebody you really want to attack their certain position and step up in order for you guys to really be a force in the FCAC? And even if you take a look, going deeper into just how stacked this FCAC soccer roster is. You guys lose to Norwalk in the state tournament, who loses to Trumbull, who goes on to play 3 straight FCAC teams before falling, all in the state tournament. So that's just how stacked FCAC is. So getting back to it, who's going to have to step up for you of those seniors that are moving up to the top spot?
They're all going to have to step up, and they're all going to have to feed each other, and they're all going to have the attitude that they're fighting for a position and for a spot on the team every moment of practice and throughout the season. I think we don't have time, we don't have the luxury to let our guard down, and that starts with me as a coach. I have to make sure that we're ready to go every game. But of course, Ben Sasse being our central defender, sometimes I use him as a sweeper, sometimes as a central defender. He has demonstrated, in action, what a leader is. He now has to demonstrate also verbally to the team, and I think if that happens from the back, that'll give us the confidence all the way up to the front that we need. And then of course we have Alex Glass, who I think he scored five or six goals last year. Had a lot of assists and really, and then he got injured, unfortunately, but really has a knack for the goal, has a knack to attract opponents in. So I think he up front will play a major role. And of course, I hate leaving anyone out because history has proven that it's going to be the players that we don't mention. It's going to be the players who are coming from behind, who are going to demonstrate being the excellent and most needed player. So all these players, in addition to any upcoming underclassmen, are going to be expected to beat their teammates off a position, and understand that that's a healthy thing. That's not a bad thing. They need to do that, and I'm looking forward to some big surprises, coming out of the junior class, maybe even out of the sophomore freshman class. We're going to need a strong defense. We're going to need a midfield that can possess the ball. We're going to need a forwards who are able to combine with the midfield and score some goals. And we have a lot of hard work to put in when we get together. August 24th, we'll have about 2 weeks. We need to put it together. We need to come up with a system of play that caters to the personnel we have in place and do some magic. I mean, it's possible. I think the setup is perfect. We haven't done so well in the last 3 years. We're coming from behind. We're not on the radar, and we don't have a target on our back the way usually what happens when you do very well. So I think we can come in and create some real nice soccer and create some exciting results.
Coach, I liked how you mentioned that. You're looking for guys who surprise you off the bench because throughout the years, I remember guys stepping up big like myself and others who came up big in moments just like you list off things. I still remember Mike Peckham scoring with maybe 10 seconds left from midfield against Bridgeport Central in the state tournament. One of the greatest goals I'll ever witness, and Matt Sedney's goal in 2007 in the state final. Again, just lists of goals and guys who have stepped up big when you least expect it. But my last question is, I want to promote this alumni game that we have coming up in memory of Ryan Megan, who was a fallen teammate of mine and of course a great player that you got to coach. Talk a little bit about what we should expect from the Ryan Megan alumni soccer game.
Well, as you know, we had it last year for the first time, and the evening started off with a huge thunderstorm, an incredible thunderstorm, which made it look like we would have to call the event. we ran off the field, and we came back maybe 5 minutes later, and there were two rainbows, and in between was the moon, and the sun was setting in the background. It was just the most incredible event. It set the tone for the evening. I expect that we're going to have that same atmosphere, whether we have a rainbow or not. We're going to have that same atmosphere. We're going to have over 100 people, returnees, or alumni rather, will coming in, and their spouses and or friends are coming in. I believe we're going to have between 100 and 200 people, and it's going to be an exciting time where we get to, again, this is the time where we see kids, where I get to see kids who come through the program. I've seen them grow up from like little kids, watch them go through the program, whether they were starters or not, whether they won a state championship or not. They're coming back home to honor Ryan Megan and to honor their town, town of Ridgefield, and their former teammates in a way that is hard to put in words. But I know it's going to be an exciting time, and it's going to be a rewarding time, and it's going to like I said, it's going to honor Ryan and this wonderful town of Ridgefield.
Well, Coach, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on August 12th. And again, be sure to stop by Tiger Hall on August 12th around 5 o'clock, the RHS alumni game for Ryan Megan. It's going to be a great night. Again, we may see a double rainbow, but again, thanks, Coach, and best of luck this upcoming season with the Tigers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Coach. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have more Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network.
Celebrate summer with fresh made-to-order picnic boxes from Walter Stewart's Market. We have delicious summery selections from buttermilk fried chicken to grilled lemon chicken kebab, grilled shrimp Caesar salad wraps, or lobster salad rolls. Our easy-to-carry picnic boxes come with your choice of a meal, as well as a dessert, beverage, and utensils. Order online for simple pickup options. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and online at stewartsmarket.com.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside.
Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The In Sports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the dock shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the dock shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Skep Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, skepchryslerjeep.com or skepdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Kevin Coleman and Joe Mixie. Now we're joined by Mike Suppy, our director, who's going to have some thoughts on what we saw last night from the U.S. men's national team as they took on Martinique. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Just your thoughts on what you saw last night.
I didn't like what I saw. I don't know how you could be a fan of the team and like that. It was about as close to an F performance in a match-winning performance as you can get, and it's not something that they're going to be able to build off of.
And you look at that game, it was 0-0 throughout that first half. When the halftime scoreless, you come out, U.S. plays a little better. You got Giazzi Sardes on the side, making things happen. Jordan Morris finally able to net one in. You got Omar Gonzalez getting that first goal. Jordan Morris able to net the second. Then all of a sudden, the back four just breaks down, Mike, and you saw Martinique come down twice and equalize 2-2, and you thought to yourself in the 75th minute, oh man, this is equalized. There's no chance the U.S. can come back from this. But they end up coming back. Jordan Morris nets his second goal thanks to, again, a great cross by Giazzi Sardes. Again, just when it's tied 2-2 like that, when Martinique scored that equalizer, what's going through your head?
I mean, to see them blow a 2-0 lead against a team of semi-pros is something that is obviously not ideal. And when you bring a team of the quality that they brought to the Gold Cup, I realize they want to rest players for World Cup qualification because they haven't, punched their ticket just yet. But those are the kinds of results you're going to get when you throw guys out there who are, not first-choice players for the national team. And their defending has continued to be problematic. Again, I'll point to the fact that they're playing a team of semi-pros from a country of 350,000 people, and to have to fight tooth and nail to get 3 points there, it's not boding well, and it's not going to give them a lot of confidence heading into this final group stage match where they're going to be battling with Panama for the the top of the group there.
And for Joe, just quickly, your thoughts on what you saw last night from the U.S. men's national team as they move on and play Nicaragua. But again, not a positive sign for the U.S. men's national team last night.
No, I don't think so. I think you take a look at the positives. You take a look at the big picture. I mean, they struggled against Panama last weekend, 1-1 tie. And then you had head coach Bruce Arena coming back and making some lineup changes, hoping that, just like Mike Suppy said, you come in and you face a team in Martinique that isn't necessarily a national powerhouse, and you put against the United States of America, which just has that unwritten rule that they need to be superior. And for them to struggle, I hope this is a wake-up call, because they're going to have to play Nicaragua. They're going to really have to dominate Nicaragua because they got to advance in pool play in the CONCACAF Gold Cup here. If they don't do that, that's really going to be a struggle. Now, you don't have your top players playing. You don't have Christian Pulisic playing, so you're going to see that. We'll see. We can hold off on that. Do I think that they'll qualify for the World Cup? Yes. Do I think that they're going to get put in that group of doom that they had before? I don't think that they'll have that this year. I don't think that they're going to be weighed as strong as they had in a couple of years before. They have a new coach and they have a lot of their senior members missing, and I think everybody knows that. So I don't think their expectations are too lofty. But at the same time, you look for some of these younger players like Jordan Morris to step up, and that's good. He scores a pair of goals. They're able to come back towards the end of this game, and they're able to, get their formations together and really, center themselves around a player that was performing well and ultimately seal the deal. But would you like to just see that expanded? I mean, should you be jumping up and down by any standards? No. But you take your positives and you move on. Nicaragua's next. You better get in the right mindset, because that's a great Central American team that can really try to steal one from you here. They're in a stealing position, so you just got to be careful.
Well, you heard it there from Joe Mixie. Joe Mixie getting fired up. And finally, Mike, for you, you and I off air talking about that back four is just, it's a struggle right now for the U.S. men's national team. It seems like every game there's someone different in that back four. In your mind, who would you want to see in the back four, and who don't you want to see on that back four?
I mean, myself personally, I've had enough of Omar Gonzalez. I realized he scored a goal last night. I think it's his second in his U.S. MNT shirt. But again, his defending is not really up to snuff. He can't keep up with the pacey players. He has trouble marking guys. I mean, he's still a threat in the air. But, at this point, you know what you're getting from him, and it's not something that's going to get you through, a knockout round at the World Cup, in my opinion. Again, I'm an amateur, so I'm not Bruce Arena. I'm not a two-time men's national team coach and, lauded. But he must see something in Omar Gonzalez that, Clinzy didn't see. But, I want to see some of these younger guys get a chance, like Mike Miazga. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're missing John Brooks in this tournament, which hurts. But, it's just they got to figure out something. And goaltending, keeper issues are hurting them too, because Guzan is obviously not an answer anymore. Tim Howard's not getting any younger. And they need to, you thought they were going to be passing the reins over to maybe some of these younger guys. Keeper is in one position where guys can, strive into their, late 30s, early 40s even. A David Seaman type guy. But I would like to see them try to work in some younger goalies at some point, but it doesn't appear like that they want to do that. They want to keep trotting out the same two guys, game in and game out. But, we'll see what happens. Again, they don't have to apologize for getting 3 points, but it's not pretty, and they're not going to win any style points in a sport where getting style points is pretty important.
Well, listen, I think they maybe need to call Tony Miola or Matt Reese to come back, those longtime goalies for the U.S. men's national team. But, Joe, finally, your quick thoughts on what you saw from the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, one more quick thing. Yeah,
national team, yeah.
Looking ahead, I just think that in the last few years, in the last couple of World Cups, we've had this U.S. national team that have kind of had those big names. You had, the Landon Donovans, you had the Tim Howards, you had the Beasleys, the Bradleys, the Beckermans. I don't think going ahead, and even in the 2014 Cup, you had a young 19-year-old Julian Green, who I don't even believe is on the roster anymore, or at least not playing in the Gold Cup. So kind of a dud there. I think this is going to be more of a team that you're going to have an association-based roster, a squad where you're going to have maybe somebody stick out game here and game there. But I don't know if you're going to have that leader. You're not going to have that guy coming in from the MLS that's leading the United States, riding on a golden eagle, waving an American flag going, this is my country, this is my team. I don't think that that's the case this year. That's going to be tough for, I think, America, and it's going to be tough for the team, but at the same time, it can bring a lot more unity, and it's going to be kind of a next man up mentality. So I think that's what you're going to see a little bit, but again, it's early. Nicaragua hasn't fared well in this Gold Cup. Hopefully, U.S. can go out to a pretty, pretty easy win there and just can take control and go to the next step, because it's good that if they see some of this other competition.
Well, listen, I'm glad that we were able to talk about the U.S. men's national team on Nutmeg Sports here, but we're going to take a break. We'll have more coverage of the Gold Cup here as we continue on throughout the summer months. And it's an exciting tournament, so be sure to keep up with the U.S. men's national team as they take on Nicaragua next. We have plenty more to come up here on Nutmeg Sports. Joe Mixie is going to get us caught up on what's going on, not only with the Bridgeport Bluefish, but we're going to talk about the 14 and under Babe Ruth All-Star team. Trumbull was able to join us in studio yesterday, so we're going to catch you up on what's going on in their tournament. All that next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the Summer Clearance event, going on now through July 31st.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick-oven pizza Napolitana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com, and like us on Facebook.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office. Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Bay Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
At Pure Barre Ridgefield, our tried and true method can shape every body and fit any schedule. Pure Barre is a total body workout using the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Sweat away the day and get lost in the music. Pure Barre Ridgefield, located at 86 Danbury Road. Like us on Facebook at Pure Barre Ridgefield.
If If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Kevin Coleman, Joe Mixie, Mike Suppy. And before we wrap the show up, Joe Mixie's going to get us caught up on what's going on with the Bridgeport Bluefish, who are right down the road. Joe, take it away. What's going on with those boys over at Harbor Yard?
Thank you very much, sir. Well, they haven't been at Harbor Yard this week. They're not going to be back till next. It's the All-Star break, but last night we had the 20th Atlantic League All-Star Game taking place at Bridgewater Township, New Jersey, home of the Somerset Patriots. Over 8,000 fans showed up. The Freedom Division, so Bridgeport's in the Liberty Division. The Freedom Division takes the game 10-3. A lot of power hitters. Bridgeport had 5 All-Stars participate. Darby Myers collected a pair of hits. Luis Hernandez had 1. And then Randy Lara, Corey Reardon, and David Carpenter, including Carpenter closing out the game. Each of them pitched an inning with Carpenter collecting a strikeout. So 10-3, not much to be worried about because a lot of the power in the league is over in the Freedom Division. But now Bridgeport gets the All-Star game behind them. They can go back to worrying about the second half, currently in first place, and they have the best record, a half game ahead of Somerset in the entire Atlantic League. They're going to go on the road to Peoples Bank Park, take on the York Revolution this weekend in a 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can find those games on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. Then they return home for a 7-game homestand beginning on Monday. Somerset's going to come to town, so Bridgeport-Somerset, always a huge series at the ballpark at Harbor Yard. A lot of energy, a lot of rivalry between those two teams of the Liberty Division. Then Southern Maryland, so 2 pretty good teams. 17th through the 23rd, they're going to be home every day, including a school day, or I guess you could call it a camp day, on Tuesday, 11:12 start time, and then an early 6:12 start time on Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday, 1:12 p.m. So make sure to go to the ballpark at Harbor Yard, and we'll bring you more updates for the Bridgeport Bluefish as the 2017 season commences.
Well, thank you, Joe. I'm looking forward to Paul O'Neill bobblehead night next weekend, one of my favorite players.
Sure.
But right now, how about you get us caught up, because we had the Trumbull 14 under All-Star team in yesterday with Coach Mike Buswell. Get us caught up on what we should expect with that region right now.
Well, first of all, we should be rallied around Trumbull. They got a couple of big games ahead of them. So last night, the winners bracket, I guess, final, semifinal, whatever you would call it, Stamford taking on Waterford. Waterford advances, so Trumbull going to play a team that they're familiar with in Stamford tonight. The winner's going to take on Waterford. And I believe if it's Trumbull, they got to beat them twice, right?
They have to beat them twice, correct.
Okay, so if the way it's going to work now, just to get you caught up on the whole regional tournament, the 14U Babe Ruth tournament, as we look forward to the World Series coming up in about a month. Trumbull is hosting the region over at Trumbull High School, coverage on the HAN Network next week. So they have an automatic bid. So if they are indeed able to win this game, looks like Waterford's going to automatically go and clinch that Connecticut bid, whether Trumbull wins the whole thing or not. So 8 teams, including the host, and each of the 6 states in New England represented, and then 2 teams from Massachusetts, Mass East and Mass West. So no updates yet on Vermont and the 2 Massachusetts leagues. In Rhode Island, it's either going to be North Providence Smith or Coventry. They're playing tonight. North Providence is going to advance with a win. Coventry has to win twice because they've already lost once, and North Providence is undefeated. The New Hampshire tournament begins tomorrow with a champion being crowned on Tuesday. The main tournament begins tonight with a champion being crowned on Monday. So stay tuned to Nutmeg Sports next week. We'll bring you updates on what's going around in New England for the Babe Ruth Regional Tournament coverage on the HAN Network next week. I'm excited for it. It's always great to see regional baseball. That's the best of some of the kids that are a little bit younger than high school. You can look ahead to the future. It's some great atmosphere. That's when you start seeing, 2 hitters, 1 hitters. These kids really getting into some more advanced baseball play, looking ahead to when they get older, they start getting really good. So I, for one, am excited. I hope you are too.
I am very excited to see these, and nice plug too about coverage on the HAN Network. That's definitely going to happen next week. We'll have a lot of coverage of that tournament. But again, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today. That's going to do it for Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Thank you to Coach Phil Bergen of the Richfield Boys soccer team for joining us in the beginning of the show. Special shout out to Richfield Soccer. Still got my 09 warm up here from the glory days, and I still got my one of my pink jerseys from the Richfield days. So again, big thanks to Coach Bergen, thanks to Joe, thanks to Mike Suppy and the rest of the crew. I'm Kevin Coleman. Have a great rest of the weekend, folks. We'll see you next week here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.